This is Pilot Rick, and I'm heading out on a flying camping safari organized by Steve Wathen. Buckle up for a quick adventure. This and all of my other videos can be seen on my YouTube channel, Big Adventures in Small Planes. Here's the originally planned route, just over 425 nautical miles in all. As it turned out, a dinner time discussion about the deteriorating weather led us to shorten our trip. Here's the revised route we ended up taking, just over 300 nautical miles. Every bit of this gear needs to squeeze into my 172 shaped puzzle. It all has to fit into this space. And it did. Everything's stowed, pre-flight's done, and I'm cleared for adventure. Our journey takes flight from Ohio State, bound for the Noble County Airport, a charming airfield nestled in the rolling hills of southeastern Ohio. Just beyond the runway, the campgrounds stretch out beside the tranquil shores of Wolf Run Lake, where pine trees sway gently in the breeze and the water reflects the changing evening sky like glass. It's a place where the campfire crackles to life with promise, and where the day's end ushers in more than starlight. It heralds dreams of adventures to come. Waiting for landing traffic and for the jet to take off. All right, my turn for takeoff. Here you can see I've overlaid the for-flight track log so you can get a sense of the progress of the flight. Crossing over the outer belt and I-71. That's Hoover Reservoir in front of us. Off to the right, you can see all the construction related to the Intel plant.
A few moments later.
Getting ready to land. There's Wolf Run Lake below us. A greaser of a landing. Scott and his crew working on the lights on the right. You can see the trail leading back to the campsite. Shut down. Noble County Airport, first stop on the journey. And 3-6 Quebec's got the best parking spot in camp. Supported by the RAF, this camping spot is part of a growing network of fly-in sites designed with pilots in mind. Thanks, Christine. While waiting for the others to arrive, this champ lifted off into the afternoon air. Here comes Steve and Bill in Steve's Cirrus. Hi, nice landing. Here's Steve Cirrus, checked in at Noble County Airport for the night. With the sun setting over Noble County, both planes are parked for the night, waiting for the next chapter. The Ohio chapter of the Recreational Aviation Foundation, RAF, has pitched in to make this airport more welcoming for backcountry flyers, adding camp-friendly touches like tent platforms, luggage carts, fire rings, stacked firewood, rustic outhouses, and even a bicycle. Lugging our gear to camp was made easier thanks to the RAF supplied carts. That's Steve's old friend Mike Campbell on the left. He drove up from Kingsport, Tennessee to join the fun. Their wives are first cousins or something like that. Steve's in the middle, and Bill Gaw is on the right. Their grill's hot and grilling is underway. The campsite's starting to smell like something special, with smoke rising and appetites building. Trading laughs as the fire crackles, telling stories, some true, some not so much. Oops. Seems that a couple of the tires on the RAF carts were feeling a little deflated. One call to Christine set off a mini relay. She rang up Ed, who rang up Scott, who rolled in with a pump and took care of the problem. Much appreciated all. The soft glow of the next morning's sunlight filtered through the trees, gently stirring the camp to life. Tents rustled, sleepy eyes blinked open, and the air carried that unmistakable hint of a new day's promise. One by one, we emerged, drawn by the golden warmth and the quiet thrill of knowing that more adventures awaited just beyond the fire ring. Well, despite the top off, by the next morning we found the carts sitting low again. Can't win 'em all. The journey continues northward from Noble County towards Port Clinton, skimming above the rolling hills and wooded terrain of eastern Ohio. As we near the expansive blue of Lake Erie, the landscape flattens and opens, revealing the shimmering shoreline that guides us toward Port Clinton. Below, the coastline of the Great Lake unfurls like a ribbon, dotted with marinas, lighthouses, and the occasional pleasure boat, tracing its own tranquil arc across the water. Touchdown at Port Clinton means one thing: lunch at the Tin Goose Diner, a vintage stainless steel gem where the food's always good and the conversation flows as easily as the fuel. Sitting just steps from the ramp, it's a perfect blend of nostalgia and community, an aviator's pit stop with soul. Refueled in more ways than one, we head next door for a guided tour of the Liberty Aviation Museum, where history comes alive in polished aluminum and radial engine rumble. From meticulously restored aircraft to stories that shaped the golden age of flight, the collection is as inspiring as it is humbling. Big thanks to Bill for the warm welcome and deep insights. His passion is infectious. With the sun rising, we lifted off from Noble County to continue the journey. There goes Steve and Bill. With gear stowed and the pre-flight done, Mike climbed aboard and joined me in the cockpit, ready for some right seat flying. Scott and crew still working on the lights. Black taxi, runway 23. I did a run-up, but I cut it out of the video. I flew around the pattern to give Mike a good view of the state park, the lake, the airport, and our campsite. After a couple of minutes of flight instruction, now Mike is flying the plane.
"20 minutes later."
The visibility is horrible because of the smoke from the Canadian wildfires. Plus, it's raining a little bit. The shoreline coming into view. We'll fly over a little bit of water before we get to Port Clinton. The Tin Goose restaurant and the first hangar of the museum is straight ahead. Just off to the left there is the second hangar of the museum. Shut down.
Good flight.
The crew's all here. Both planes parked side by side at Port Clinton, ready for lunch and a museum stroll. No stop at Port Clinton is complete without a meal at the Tin Goose Diner. Good food and a perfect spot for aviators passing through. This stretch of the walkway to the diner had an unexpected guardian, a fiercely protective mother bird who dive bombed anyone daring to pass too close to her nest. Step back in time. The Tin Goose Diner, with a view of the runway, isn't just a meal, it's a true slice of Americana with its classic diner charm and comfort food favorites. An experience steeped in aviation and diner tradition, offering up burgers, shakes, and a healthy dose of nostalgia, festooned with red vinyl booths, chrome accents, and hearty meals to match. A crew as varied as the planes we flew in on, and twice as entertaining. Above the retro couch hangs a painting that quietly steals the scene. Don't miss it. As Valerie from the museum staff explained, the painting isn't just decorative, it brings together a fascinating cast. Hollywood icons, World War II heroes, aviation greats, and even the Tin Goose's own CEO, who was cooking that day. With appetite satisfied, we stepped into the Liberty Aviation Museum to see what history had in store. The museum was packed with exhibits, each one telling a story worth lingering over. From vintage aircraft to rare artifacts, there was no shortage of things to explore. We made our way across the ramp, heading for the main hangar, where the real treasures are housed. In the corner of the hangar, a World War II era PT boat that once sliced through enemy waters, undergoing careful restoration, waits to sail into history once more. Alongside the PT boat rests a fully operational Sherman tank, a powerful piece of history still in working order, its restored turret and treads echoing the might of another era, ready to rumble just like it did decades ago. Bill, a passionate museum volunteer whose storytelling brought history to life, led us through the exhibits, weaving in tales that gave each display new depth, making the past feel vivid and present. The final leg of our journey takes off from Port Clinton, going back to Ohio State, hugging the Lake Erie shoreline as we climb out over the glistening water and take in a quick tour of the islands. With the islands scattered about like jewels below us, the horizon opens wide, and the lake stretches out in every direction, an endless blue canvas beneath our wings. And what a view it is! From above, we fly past the islands and witness Cedar Point unfolding like a miniature metropolis of thrill, with roller coasters twisting and diving across the narrow peninsula that juts out into Lake Erie. From there, we trace a southward arc inland, passing over patchwork farmlands and sleepy towns nestled among Ohio's gentle terrain. The air is smooth, the view spectacular. Our destination, the Ohio State University Airport, home base for both Steve and me, where Buckeye pride runs as deep as the runways are long. Touching down here isn't just a landing, it's a return to the heart of Ohio's aviation spirit. Leaving Port Clinton, we take a little tour of the Lake Erie Islands. First up is South Bass with Clinton Bay. Next is Middle Bass. Just offshore of Middle Bass to the left is the small private island, Rattlesnake Island. North Bass is up ahead. In the distance you can see Pelee Island, which is Canadian. Passing over the glacial grooves and the airport on Kelly's. And a flyby of Cedar Point. Off to the right is a small, perfectly round reservoir.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Here is the Delaware Reservoir coming into view on the right. Off to the right is a visual reporting point we call the Square Lakes. Reporting in at 3:15 and the outer bell. Another excellent landing. There's Steve's plane outside of his hangar. My hangar. And shut down. Back at Steve's hangar, getting ready to put his plane away. Back home in my hangar at Ohio State. 3-6 Quebec, tucked in safe and sound. Wings at rest. Another great adventure behind us. Another story added to the logbook. I hope you enjoyed this mini adventure trip. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. In the meantime, keep the shiny side up and the pointy end forward. Wishing you blue skies and tailwinds.
It's about the journey, not the destination.